Hi, Shirley here with the Daily Transit, and today I'd like to talk about Mercury moving to Aquarius and the crystal Lapis Lazuli. So let's see how they both interact. So the crystal Lapis Lazuli, for those of you who do not know, it's a blue crystal. I don't have it here with me. It connects with the Egyptian wisdom, the throat chakra and the third eye chakra, the blue ray. So it's truth and clarity. And today is the day of the blue ray. Not because it governs a certain day, but because I received a certain ray for each day. So today is the blue ray for me and for everyone. So Lapis Lazuli is about connecting with truth. It's about psychic abilities of the third eye, seeing clearly, hearing clearly, and knowing clearly, knowledge, ancient wisdom. Now for Aquarius, especially when you have Mercury in Aquarius, it's the sign of... Oh, wait, where? Where to?
We're going to some place now.
Oh, but I'm recording, so later. Yeah, my YouTube.
Yeah.
So I'm here with friends from the hostel. So Aquarius, it's about clearly knowing. It's about science, it's about exploration of the wide space, of space, of cosmology as well, because it's exploration of space, it's high technology as well. The masses, so networks, a thought that is based on the wisdom of the masses. Machine learning, wisdom of the masses, statistics and probability, because it's computing multiple elements and coming to a decision based on multiple elements. For me, the way I channel is that way. I channel mass consciousness in the creation, and then I would get the answer that's like asking, 1 billion people a question, and they all come around to the answer, and that can be very accurate. It can be wrong as well, but it can be very accurate.
Are you sure you don't want to come with
So,
us?
because I'm recording, so later.
Yeah.
But yeah, enjoy. Ciao. Yeah, work first. The pleasure of work first, and then I will have human connections as well too here. So, and when we have Mercury, which is the planet that governs the nervous system, it governs commerce and exchange of agreements, any sorts of exchange agreements. It is also mixed with Venus energy and therefore it governs human relation, or the role of the nervous system in human relation, neurons that connect to each other. Okay? So having that in the sign of Aquarius calls us to work with the energy of Lapis Lazuli and for ancient wisdom. Aquarius is ruled modernly by Uranus. Okay, that's technology, that's the new, that's innovation, that's clear cognizance, that's clear knowing, downloading information intuitively, and also being scientific oriented, detail oriented, or science oriented. But it is anciently governed by Saturn. And this is the Saturn that governs what happens outside the structure. So if Capricorn is what happens inside the structure, there's the hierarchy of the inside, the hierarchy of governments, the hierarchy of public bodies, the hierarchy of patriarchy, for example, or matriarchy. Yeah. Then with Aquarius, as a Saturn-ruled sign, it's the structure of anarchy, the structure of egalitarian society, the structure of mass communities. It can also be structure of cults, so that can be a negative influence. But when you work with the blue ray, with Lapis Lazuli, then you are connected with the truth. Now, Saturn also governs things that are old. Although Uranus is things that are new, Saturn is things that are old. So it's the old and the new. And so Lapis Lazuli connects us with old wisdom, with Egyptian wisdom. And grabbing the wisdom of the old, it's not the wisdom that is more traditional, like Capricorn, tradition, religion. No, it is the ancients that were connecting with the cosmos, with the spheres and the crystals. It's crystals and spheres, my business. With the spheres and the crystals and the consciousnesses and the technologies, like the pyramids, that are giant. And having Mercury reach in Aquarius is a time for us to merge the new and the old and work with the blue ray, work with the crystal Lapis Lazuli, so that we get what's good from the ancients. Not everything was good, and not everything is relevant for today. There were times where we didn't have, for example, anesthesia, and a doctor would, if they would have to do an operation, they would do it without anesthesia. Today, it would be considered inhumane. Okay, so we would have to take the good from the old, what's relevant to us, or make the adjustments. From the ancients, from Egyptian culture, from old technologies, from the cosmos and cosmology, and observing the spheres. There's a beautiful application called Star Tracker, and many applications that are similar, where you can just direct your phone to the heavens, and you see in the application the stars and the locations of the planets and the stars. So right now, for example, Mercury is in Aquarius, but you won't see it in the skies because that would be sidereal, and sidereally it would still be in Capricorn. But giving the interpretation for the tropical, and the tropical is based on time rather than on space, which I think is good for a Saturn-ruled sign, because Saturn is governing time. And the way time passes in Aquarius, the way time passes in the space. And Saturn is in Aquarius, so we need to remember that as well. So for Mercury, going through the sign of Aquarius can be a very thought-expanding, although we would need to work with the Lapis Lazuli, and we would need to be very mindful. That's a Saturn-ruled sign. Saturn is mindfulness and being present in the body, and connecting to our senses. To work in good dosage with the crystal. You can just Google image Lapis Lazuli. If you don't have the crystal, you don't need to buy it necessarily unless you're getting a call to buy it. Just put it on your phone as a screensaver and ask for messages from Lapis Lazuli, so you can get the clarity of mind and find out the truth. What is true? What is true will make your nervous system heal. What is true is not just the fundamentalist belief. How is my nervous system doing? Okay, with Aquarius it governs the nervous system. How is my nervous system doing? Am I sleeping well? If you are following what is true for you, you will be sleeping very well. You may be sleeping intermittently, you might not be sleeping a full night, but you will be getting enough sleep in the pattern of sleep that is true to you. Okay, your clarity of vision will begin to arise. So maybe you were wearing eyeglasses and you find the right beliefs for you. You need less and less eyeglasses. So you have a clarity of vision. And especially when the moon is going to hit Aquarius, that can draw in the clarity of vision, because the moon draws in things. It manifests things on the earth. Another thing you need to look out for is what kind of structure would you want your outdoor lives to be? When you go outside the home, where you go outside the structure, when you go outside the office, when the lockdown ends perhaps, what lifestyle do you want to have outside with the community, with a large community, in society? So you can work with Lapis Lazuli and receive the messages for the right communities for you. How do you know which communities are right for you? When you're exposed to them, when you're with them, when you're visiting them, you sleep well, your eyesight is becoming clearer, and your moods stabilize. You become more grounded. A balanced nervous system is a balanced hormonal system, it's balanced eyesight, it's balanced thinking, clarity of thinking. That is where you know that you are saying the correct things for you, that you have the right beliefs, that even though the right beliefs is not a belief like a philosophy necessarily or religion, like Jupiterian ruled Sagittarius, but science. Now there is a whole discourse about medicine, vaccination, medication, whatever. What is right for you might not be right for the next person. The precision in medicine for you will come when you know, if I'm holding the right belief about anything and everything scientific, then my nervous system will be healing. If you are a scientist and you're working in a laboratory and you have a theory, but you're wearing eyeglasses, you're in the wrong theory. You're in the wrong theory. Because your eyesight should be improving when you reach the truth. People think that people wear eyeglasses. I used to wear eyeglasses for a long time. Now my eyesight is improving. And people think that people who wear eyeglasses are smarter because they work in front of the computer all day. No. They're losing sight because our sight is both cognitive, to be able to make a logical explanation of things, and intuitive, to be able to grasp and download knowledge and not even know how you know that you know, but you know something. You just know where to go. You just know what question to ask. Even when you're doing a thesis, how do you know what is the best question to ask? You have competition, you have peer reviews, you need to get published. How do you know which question would be more beneficial for you to investigate? You don't know it cognitively. You just know. You download. Sometimes I would sit on a Wednesday, that's a Mercury day, a studies day, for research, and I would channel research questions. And then I would come to learn things through those research questions. I would look at them cognitively. I would Google that, and then I would get the right passages to read, because you don't read the whole article. Sometimes you read the abstract. Sometimes you need to go to certain passages, certain paragraphs where you have the knowledge that you need. How do you know where to go? Intuitively. So practicing those faculties of knowledge, that third eye, and speaking the truth of your science, and learning that there is something that is true to you. There are degrees of knowledge, but our senses, our eyesight, can pinpoint us to a degree of clarity. I could look at a sign and I would not see something clearly, and then there would be something about that sign, let's say, a job offer. And I would not see clearly the ad. And I would be like, there is something here, and my intuition would tell me, yes, there are some scams here, there are some lies here. And then I would look at another sign from exact same distance, and I would see it clearly, because the knowledge is truth. Okay? That's the kind of skill you begin to develop, and the energies of the heavens are very supportive of developing that skill. You can see the truth clearly, and what is not truth, you just don't see it clearly. And also, if a person speaks to you, then you can use your senses. If a person speaks clearly, not making word salad or gaslighting, then you can communicate. But if they don't speak clearly, the best answer would be, I don't understand. I don't understand. If a person tried to gaslight you, say, I don't understand. Could you explain that more clearly? And when you do that, they are either forced to start speaking in clarity, or they just leave you. And so instead of being boggled by lies and scams and fake data and fake news, you just go, I'm sorry, I'm not following. I did not get you. I don't get you. It's like, I don't speak the language. That would be a good reply for that, because we know that Mercury is is governing transition, govern all kinds of transition. It's adaptable. So Mercury is adaptable, meaning that it can be a trickster. It can adapt to a circumstances or an environment that is unhealthy. But a good way of adaptation would be not to merge with that environment, not to be, hot with the hot and cold with the cold, but actually to isolate the temperature, which is what our nervous system does. Let's say if I'm in a cold place, then my nervous system would send signals to my body to heat the body, not to cool the body. Right? So Mercury, even though in the ancients said, it is hot with the hot planets and cold with the cold planets, when we think of Mercury as governing the nervous system, it's not necessarily going to blend in with the environment, but it's going to adapt. And if you work with Lapis Lazuli and you work with the blue ray, then your adaptation would be on the frequency of truth and alignment and clear-sightedness that is healthy for your body, healthy for your nervous system, healthy for your hormonal system, healthy for your eyesight, rather than just blending in with whatever, thinking, from a survivalistic point of view. You can still do the survivalistic thing, but just if you don't see clearly, don't say that you see it. You say, I'm sorry, I don't see. I can't see. I'm sorry, I don't hear. I didn't get you. And if somebody speaks the truth to you, then you will see them clearly, you will sense them clearly, they will appear with the blue ray, they will connect with you. And that is how you know that's the truth. So Mercury in Aquarius pinpoints to that clarity that is of the masses, of science, of ecology, because now Uranus, the modern ruler, is in an earth rule sign in Taurus, of structures that are outdoor structures, of societies, of even there are shopping centers, because Mercury is also commerce. So shopping centers that are not closed, not like a mall, but more like an open shopping center. That could be location that is typical to Mercury and Aquarius. Shopping outside. It can also be a time where the lockdown will be removed from some places that have lockdown. It can also be a time where commerce is related to outdoors, not necessarily to traveling as it would be in Sagittarius, or maybe if Aquarius is in the 9th house for you or the 12th house, then it can be traveling long distance, but commerce to do with the outside, like the markets not like the trading centers, but actual markets. That could be an interesting place to gain wisdom. Travel to the market, shop at the market, agreements to do with outdoor activities. If you have a contract to sign it at the cafe where you sit outside. Sign on that location that is open. So good location for Mercury activity would be outdoors. If you want to meditate, maybe meditate in not necessarily in a park, but actually just sit on a bench at the market and meditate there with the noise, with everything, and you meditate so that you concentrate on the outside noises as well as what's going on inside your body, the in and the out. Okay, Mercury is paying attention on both of these things. Anything more I want to say? Good commerce, fair, egalitarian commerce. This is a month of egalitarian commerce. What's egalitarian for you? What's fair commerce? A community and trade based on human connection, not human trafficking, right? So to make money, a lot of us are seeking new jobs. Seek to make money in Aquarian environment. do with space, outdoors, space activities, cosmology, astrology as well. Astrology as well, because Uranus is astrology. So perhaps you are an astrologer and try to make an offer that has to do with the Aquarius house in your chart. For me, it's interesting because Aquarius is in the 12th house, a whole sign, and I'm in a hospital, which is a very 12th house location. I'm not hospitalized. I'm actually in between homes, i.e. homeless. And I'm sitting here during the day and doing my work and my promotional work and my thinking and my meditation and my seclusion in the hospital. So it's a good remediation for me. And the hospital is an open space. It's very wide. So I'm in the open space. Talking about astrology. That is the very, Mercury and Aquarius in the 12th house live that you're seeing, a live interpretation of one map. So let me know in the comments below, where is Aquarius in your chart? And what house system are you working with? I know that Astro.com works with Placidus, but you can change it to a whole sign if you're a bit more advanced. And let me know what house is Aquarius for you. And that would be your Mercury day. Work with Lapis Lazuli in small dosages, so it wouldn't give you no headache, or just you would know when you work and when you need to stop. You can just Google image it. If you feel like you need the crystal with you, that's a good time to go and buy a crystal from a store that is not in a mall but actually outside, or even in the market. I saw there was a beautiful market here where I stay in Amsterdam Zuidoost. And sometimes they sell crystals outside. So you would get the intuition if the crystal is good for you or not good for you. Anything more I have to say is the crystals and the spheres, they work together. So when you understand why are you using a certain crystal in a certain transit, that can give you a great boost to your energy. It's still not a talisman. It's not talismanic work. It's not like you use the crystal for remediation. That's important because that's a whole astrological magic field that I'm not a professional in, and I cannot give advice out. But it is good support of the energy. So it's a channeled message that is not imprinting any energy into the crystal. So it does not serve as a talisman, and it does not pose the dangers that you have when you work with a talisman, and you need to look at the whole chart, your chart, the transits, when was the crystal made, and a million of other things that I'm not qualified to give you good advice at this stage in my life. So yeah, that's me. I also give written reports, and I need to check how can I actually get payment, because I still don't have a PayPal or something like that, and abroad, so I'm not in contact with my own bank account in Israel, and I still don't have a bank account here because I have to wait for the February 16th to get registered in the gemeente and get a BSN, which is a Dutch residency, so I can start work. But I do give out reading reports. I have Ethereum, so if you want to pay the equal of 50 euros in Ethereum, that's a possibility. You can contact me. And in the written report, you get your own channeled message and channeled transits for this year. Why channel? I look at your map cognitively, but not for every person everything will be important. Even if I work with the Time Lords, there would be something that's more important to you, something that you're being called in to pay your focus on, because even on every day we have a million transits that affect us, that affect our charts. But other than just cognitively looking at where the planets, how the planets are arranged, there is also consciousness, and there is also the consciousness and the spirit level of matter that matters, and that is where channeling comes in, and that is why my reports are so unique because I don't just look at your chart, I look at your chart and I channel the message for you. So let's say you have 3 transits that are equally important cognitively, I would know which one to talk about first for you, because I would receive the message that, hey, pay attention to this thing, work with this crystal energy. You don't even need to purchase the crystal. Sometimes you would get the calling to purchase the crystal physically, that would happen, but not always. And I'm saying this as a person who is planning to open a crystal shop. You know, I would not say that if that would not be true and that would not be the case. You don't always have to buy the crystal to work with it. You can call in on its energy. It can be like a spirit guide to you. And then for the crystals you would own physically, you would own them for the time that you need to own them. Maybe sometimes you would want to give them as a gift. Maybe sometimes they would just vanish. But that's life, and that's crystal consciousness, and that's, you know, it's a matter of spirit and the spirit of matter. So I'll see you on the next video. You can DM me on Instagram or on Twitter, on Facebook, if you want to get a reading. That would be Ethereum or Bitcoin, the equivalent of 50 euros. Yeah, I don't do private one-on-one sessions right now because how can I receive you like at the hospital, right? But yeah, so that's it. Have a wonderful new year. I'll see you in my next video. Ciao.